Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about everything new in the version 2 update, but before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So as usual, the very first thing I want to go over is of course the keyword, and it is the_feel_of_version 2, alright? So once you type that, you're going to press escape, go to systems, go to get campaign items, and over here there's going to be receive item account, and you're going to see right here David plays NGS, and you're going to get 50 star gems as well as 3 end rare drop rate plus 25%, so make sure to pick that up. You may also have noticed there is a get big and strong campaign boost going on right now, which gives you 10 yellow triggers, so pick that up as well. Alright, with that out of the way, the first thing I want to go over is Cel Shading. Now when you load up version 2 for the very first time, it'll ask you if you want to activate Cel Shading. Some of you guys may not have noticed and just clicked yes, and you may have noticed that Cel Shading was automatically turned on. However, let's say that you want to edit the amount of Cel Shading or you just want to turn it off. You can always go to the salon over here, and once you're in the salon, you're going to go to edit miscellaneous and Cel Shading settings. Once you're here, you can enable or disable Cel Shading depending on what you want. As you can see, this is without Cel Shading and this is with Cel Shading. I personally really like the Cel Shading. I did turn down the shadow density because by default it looks a little bit too much, especially from the back over here, and during cutscenes it just doesn't look as great, which is why I turned down the shadow density. However, if you really want that manga type of look or that just anime type of look, you can always drag the outline emphasis all the way to the maximum, and this really gives you a manga type of look, like your character really pops with the outlines. However, it does ruin a little bit of detail. As you can see, like the face detail is going to be a little bit covered up and a little bit ruined because of the huge bold outlines. So I keep mine at default, so there is still that anime look, which is really nice, and it just looks really good. But with that being said, just keep in mind that if you turn on Cel Shading for your character, it enables it for all the other characters as well. As you can see over here, Emmy is also Cel Shaded because I have it enabled, so every character that I see around town is also going to be Cel Shaded. Now the next thing I want to talk about is of course the creative spaces itself, because it's amazing. In order to gain access to creative spaces, you are going to need to talk to this NPC over here, the architectural researcher. Once you talk to her and finish her little tutorial, she has a lot to say. You can come to the Ryuker device, and right at the bottom there is creative spaces. So every day there will be featured creative spaces. As you can see, mine is 3rd place over here, so you can just head over to my island if you want. However, if you want to start creating your own stuff, you can go to your own creative space over here, and if you're free to play, you're going to have one space right here. However, if you're premium, you'll have another island. So these are 2 separate spaces. So I'm just going to go over to my personal creative space right now just to show you what it looks like. And by default, this is what your creative space is going to look like. You're just going to have this little house over here which you can go in, and it's pretty much empty, and there's a little tree over here. Now make sure to collect the Genesis points from this tree over here, because there is a limited amount of Genesis points that you can earn every single day from the trees. However, you can also visit other players' creative spaces in order to get extra Genesis points from their trees as well. So let's say that you want more Genesis points, you can simply just go to my island over here. This is the public one where everyone has access to, and you can simply just go to my tree here and take my Genesis points. You're not really taking my Genesis points, I'm just giving extra Genesis points. I believe my tree gives 250 points. Now this is my space at the moment. As you can see, it's pretty much a disaster. It's a work in progress. We all get this for free, by the way. I'm going to show you where you can get this poster for free. So I have a poster over there. This Emperor Rappy, if you dig a hole directly down to the middle of your island, you will find this Emperor Rappy, and if you delete it, you actually get an achievement which gives you the Emperor Rappy statue, which you can place. As you can see, this garden as well as this house itself, I actually took from other players. You can actually take blueprints. If other players set their blueprints to public, you can take them. So this is how I built the little garden as well as this little house, which is why they look so good. And over here, this building or this shop itself, you can also just build by default. And as you can see, I placed an NPC right here of myself, and it actually looks pretty good. So you can see on the left that my 2002 look actually looks really good cel shaded. I actually prefer this look, the one on the left, over the one on my right. However, well, this is my 2023 look, so I'm not really going to be changing that anytime soon. But nevertheless, you know, cel shading is really nice. I'm a big fan of cel shading. Now on top of that, you can also build these little staircase thingies. I didn't build this, my alliance members built this. And you can also place NPCs here. As you can see, Emmy's right here. When you talk to her, she says platform to heaven, and you can challenge yourself, I guess, and go all the way to the top. There is a little surprise at the very top if you do get there. As you can see over here, I've also placed another clone of myself. This is the 2023 look, so don't be fooled. This is just a clone of myself. When you talk to her, it always says all hail Emperor Rappy. The easy way to know whether it's a clone or not is if you actually see the player name or not. As you can see on top of my avatar, there's banana pancakes as well as my name Keroppi, while this one over here doesn't have a name or a clan tag. It just looks exactly the same as me. But enough of showing you an abomination, let me show you what creative spaces really can do. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the power of creative spaces. This is a Japanese shrine, a temple. It is massive. Look at this. You come in here, you've got the front entrance, you've got a nice sakura tree, you've got all these staircases that go all the way to the top. There's even more stuff. Let me just run up here. You can see all the way up here, there's a bar that I can sit down. There's a bartender that'll make me drinks. And this is the power of creative spaces. This is what it looks super amazing. Look at this. There's a nice little green screen over here in case you need to do any green screening for videos. And at the top of the roof, there's a nice little shinobi here that's protecting us. And there's a giant tree. So this is what the power of creative spaces can do. It's built around this giant forest. They planted trees everywhere. They did the elevation. You've got this massive, cool looking temple. It's amazing. This is what I am planning to do on creative spaces. This is the stuff that takes hours and hours and hours to do, but looks amazing and is definitely worth it. So the person who made this, Himiko, actually spent 13 hours creating this masterpiece, and on day one, 13 hours, that is amazing. So I can't wait to see what you guys will be able to create with more time. If someone was able to create this in 13 hours within the first day, when we get more materials, more objects, more furniture, I can only see even greater things. So this is the power of creative spaces. Now, creative spaces isn't for everyone. However, for the people who it is for, creative spaces is amazing. It's so good, and it's so in-depth, and there's so much customizability that you can create basically anything that you want, which is amazing and really nice. So even though I am still a little bit mad at Sega because I want combat stuff, I understand why this took so long to make, and I understand why they wanted to call it version 2 or Ultra Evolution update or whatever, because the creative spaces alone, for the people who like creative spaces, is a very powerful tool and a really great quote-unquote game mode for players like that, because you can literally create anything. And I can't wait to see some of you creative people make some really cool stuff. Now, that being said, the next thing I want to talk about is, of course, we have a new storyline. So it is about like 40 minutes long. It isn't super long, and that's if you watch the entirety of all the cutscenes. I'm pretty sure if you were to skip all the cutscenes, you'd probably be done in like 10-15 minutes maybe. So yeah, it is a little bit short, unfortunately. However, the nice thing about the new story is you do get to fight Starless, so it is pretty nice to see what the new enemy types are, as well as see their attack pattern, so I am pretty happy about that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the photo room. So as you can see over here, I did put on a password and I did create a photo room in town. So there are no players. However, the moment that I remove it and I reset it, you can see all the players pop up again, and it's pretty awesome. Now, do keep in mind that when you're in photo room, you can't talk to the NPCs. The NPCs don't bring up menus. You can't actually interact with them. So that is something to keep in mind. With that being said, I want to bring everyone's attention to the Alliance Badge Exchange Shop, because you can gain Star Gems. As you can see over here, you can exchange 2 Alliance Badges for 20 Star Gems, as well as 2 Alliance Badges for another 10. So make sure to do this every single week, because Alliance Badges are super easy to get. Literally every single Alliance task that you complete, you get 2 badges. So you just need to complete 2 Alliance tasks, and you can buy out the 30 Star Gems every single week. Sure, it's not a lot, but it does add up and it is free, so just buy them anyway. The next thing I want to talk about are, of course, the new class skills as well as the class balancing that is now available. So when we go to learn class skill over here, you can see over here at the very bottom we do have a new katana skip arts, which is pretty nice because whenever you sidestep counter, it allows you to immediately use the third stage of whatever katana photon art that you want, which is very, very powerful. Now on top of that, we also have the photon bow attack impact, which is also very good, but every class got one new skill for each weapon type, so it is really, really nice. So please make sure to check out the skill trees and reallocate your points, because it is now free to reallocate. You can literally just click minus to reallocate stuff. So let's say I don't want skip arts, I can just delete that and I can replace my points elsewhere, which is very nice. You don't need any reset tickets, no nothing. You can reallocate all of your points easy peasy. Simply by clicking the minus key, you get 1 point, you can place it somewhere else. It's a big deal, so I'm very happy about that. Now on top of that, of course, all of the class balancing is now in effect. So as you can see over here that I did multi-weapon my bow with my katana for my Neo A weapon, because the bow is really fun now. The bow's really powerful. I don't know if it's as good as the katana. It's not exactly at that power level yet, but it's definitely a viable weapon to use if you really enjoy playing the bow. I did a lot of PSE bursting with it. I quite enjoy it with the frenzied arrow, and then against single targets I would use flex arrow. I think the bow changes were very nice. However, I would like to see even more buffs on the bow because it's not quite there in my personal opinion, but it is definitely viable and still very fun. The next thing I want to remind everyone is, of course, the event lady. Please make sure to spend all of your seasonal points if you still have any. You can't actually see your seasonal points here, but when you talk to the NPC, you can see right here that I still have 48,000 seasonal points. So make sure that you spend all of your seasonal points before the week ends, because after the coming maintenance, she will be gone and you won't be able to buy any more things if you still have leftover seasonal points. The next thing I want to go over is the new exchange shop. As you can see here, special edition exchange. Remember all of those creative spaces special edition tickets? This is where you can exchange it. There are 5 items, and if you did the event, you would have gotten 5 creative space special edition tickets, so you can collect every single item. Now after you exchange for those items, you need to go to the creative spaces, go to your creative spaces in order to use the items. So once you're in the creative spaces, you're going to talk to the green panel over here, and right here, bind build parts. You're going to click on this, and here are all the different items that you can add in. So you can see right here, I would like to bind that, boom. And now all of these items are going to become available in my creative spaces. So when I go to the build option, so you open up my build menu right here, you're going to see right here that now I have all 5 of the new items. So let's say I want to put this poster over here that looks kind of small, so we can press shift over here. Let's go to rotation, we'll flip it a little bit this way, and then let us go to scale over here and let's make it freaking ginormous, and voila, you can see that now we have another poster and we can place it right there, and voila. Now let's exit build mode, and you can see we got another poster. Very nice. So you can mess around with this and place whatever you want, which is pretty cool. Now the next thing they've added in the exchange shop is the Giga Strugment exchange. So as you can see over here, you can pick up all of the different Defi capsules for 10 Giga Strugments. Now keep in mind, we cannot farm for the Strugments yet. We have to wait until next week in order to do so. You can also get a bunch of Giga Stat 4s, which is pretty nice, as well as Photon Chunks. However, the big thing is going to be all of the weapon camos over here. So there is this super rare Psycho Wand over here. This is a fan favorite. It's a very rare rod weapon camo, and it looks really nice. I really love the sparkly effects. Yeah, it just looks really nice. However, for my katana players, you might want to go for the Orochi over here. I really like the Orochi because of this little string right here. Actually, it just looks really nice, and there is physics with it, and it's just really fancy. So if you don't have any nice katana weapon camos, you can definitely go with the Orochi. Just keep in mind that you need 500 Giga Strugments for any of these weapon camos, so it is gonna take a while, but most of the weapon camos over here, if not all, look really good. So yeah, it's probably worth getting them. It's just gonna take you some time because 500 of these Strugments is gonna take a while to farm for. Now the next thing I want to go over is the exchange enhancement materials. When you go to other enhancement materials, you can see you can now craft Photon Chunks 2A and 2B. Now do keep in mind there is a limit of 10 per week, and it is pretty expensive on the minerals, you know, 50 monotype, 50 tetrasite, 50 hexasite. It's pretty expensive in order to make one of these photon chunks. Personally, I would farm for the Giga Strugments instead and just get them that way because yeah, this costs a lot. It costs quite a lot actually. So only if you're in a pinch and you just need like 1 or 2 and you just don't want to wait and you just want to craft them, you can do that. There is an option. Another thing is your arms refiners too. I would recommend that if you don't have a bunch of arms refiners too for your 9-star rarity weapons yet, that you exchange the 2 free ones here and just get this every single week so that when you do get the 9-star rarity weapons, it'll be a lot easier to just limit break it and all of that stuff. And also don't forget, next week we're going to be able to limit break our armors and our weapon to plus 70, so that will also give us the 6th augment slot. This doesn't start this week, it starts next week, so just keep that in mind. But you might want to start farming up all the different minerals as well as materials needed in order to limit break, as well as your special augments on whatever you want to place that in. All right. And last but not least, I want to go over how to place holograms, because a lot of people have been asking me, how do I place the holograms? And you just open up your quick menu over here. As you can see over here, it says shift to swap or edit layout. So I have a customized layout. I don't use the basic one. However, if you use the basic one or the default one, it's just going to have place hologram right there. But since I use a customized layout, mine is at the very bottom. I click on it and boom, you've got all the different things that you can place. Now you can sort by category as well. If you just want to place an object, for example, let's say that you want to place a little box, boom, you've placed a little box now everyone can see this box. Now the strange thing is you just kind of run through it, there's no collision, but I'm assuming probably because if there was collision there would be a lot of issues, especially in like combat zones. You could probably bug out bosses and stuff with these boxes, so that's probably why there's no collision. But if you want to remove the box, it's very simple. You simply go here, remove newest first or remove all, and poof, they're gone. Now do keep in mind that you do have a cost over here. As you can see, it's 0 out of 6. So when you place an object over here, you can see it's 1 out of 6. So after I hit 6 out of 6, I won't be able to place any more objects. So let's say I want to keep putting boxes. You see, once I've got 6 boxes over here, it won't let me put any more until I remove one, and then I can place something else. All right, so that's just how things work, and I'm going to remove everything now. So in conclusion, if you're a creative type, you enjoy playing Minecraft, Roblox, or just any type of creative type of game, this update is a big deal for you guys. However, if you only care about combat, you care about gearing up, you don't care about building things, and you're not exactly the creative type, maybe just relax until next week, because once we get the 9-star rarity weapons, we get more stuff to upgrade, we get more things to farm for, we're getting more high rank combat zones as well as new enemy types, so there's going to be a lot more things to farm for next week. This week is really about the creative spaces and just marveling in your character in cel shaded mode, because overall, I am very impressed by the cel shading as well as the creative spaces. However, I know it's not for everyone, and some people might not be as impressed because it's not content catered towards you. So yeah, we just have to wait a little bit if you are looking for combat. Next week is when we can start farming things and start upgrading things and getting stronger. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!